Ninjago has been around for over 13 years now, and with it has come a slew of amazing Ninjago minifigures. A lot of these minifigures go for very cheap, but some of them are extremely expensive. And in today's video, I'm going to buy some of the most rare and expensive Ninjago minifigures from throughout the years. But there's a spin. With every new expensive Ninjago minifigure I get, I have to build a diorama from the show out of my own bricks for it. But first, I need to buy these minifigures. I went on to Bricklink and searched long and hard for these Ninjago minifigures. Once I had them in my cart, I bought them. Pretty soon, I started getting package after package of expensive Ninjago minifigures. It was awesome opening them up, and now I have a massive pile of all the minifigures we need. So let's get into it with our first minifigure, Samukai. Ever since 2011, I desperately wanted this minifigure, and after building him up, this minifigure definitely doesn't disappoint. He's got a massive jaw that can open and close, 4 skeleton arms, and the headpiece with the spine running down the back just looks so amazing. The cheapest you can get this minifigure nowadays is $34, but you can also shell out $248 on this minifigure as well. Now it's time to build a scene from the pilot show, and we're going to rebuild the scene where Kai tries to take on Samukai at his blacksmith shop. I started by getting a 16 by 16 base plate, building a black rim around it. Then I had to work on the water tower. I built 4 wooden pillars going up, and then I used quite a few Technic pieces to make this unique technique where afterwards I was able to lay on sand green pieces around the barrel of this water tower. Finally, I added a small roof and placed it on top of those 4 wood pillars. In order to make the ground, I got a lot of light gray slopes and started making rock shapes and fitting them together. That gives this very unique cobblestone floor effect. Then I added a little area with grass on it and a couple flowers. Now it's time to build up Kai in his blacksmith shop costume with a sword, and Samukai with 4 daggers. Now that this diorama is complete, we can put it in the display, and I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed building this small display, and Samukai I'm going to give a 10 out of 10. Fantastic minifigure overall, and I almost wish modern day Ninjago would make villains as cool as these. Now let's move on to our next shockingly amazing minifigure. NRGK is the most expensive minifigure from Season 2 and only came in one very rare spinner set. This minifigure can range from $75 to $287. But when you take a close look at this minifigure, it kind of makes sense why it's so expensive. They painted the detail on the body with a fluorescent blue color that shimmers in the light. This is a fantastic Jay minifigure, and the amount of cool lightning detail is awesome. In the show, Jay unlocks his true potential when he's riding on a coaster at Mega Monster Amusement Park and he has to save Nia. So we're going to recreate this scene here. I laid down some sand and started building the main yellow supports for this roller coaster. I actually used a green coaster piece I got from Ninjago City Markets. I attached it on. I got transparent orange clip joints to make that deadly ring of fire. On the ground I added some details and even put an ice cream cone that someone had dropped alongside this boy looking up in his astonishment as Jay saves Nia on this coaster car I built and placed Nia in. The last thing to do is place Jay on the front of the coaster car, and he's saving Nia from her impending doom. And I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. You honestly can't give the Mega Monster Amusement Park enough room on a 16 by 16. And for NRGJ, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. The detail is amazing, but it's only a 4-piece minifigure, and it costs a lot of money. Next up, we have General Kozu, the commander of the Stone Army. This minifigure first appears in Season 2 of Ninjago, and let me tell you, he is a sick-looking 4-armed samurai. The version of this minifigure I got was a bit nicked up, and you can definitely tell it had some playwear, but I was able to get it for $13. But if you want to get this minifigure brand new, it's going to cost you about $78. The detailing on this Stone Warrior is magnificent. The silver and the red are a great color combination, and they even went the extra mile and printed little black spikes coming off the helmet. In the final battle of Ninjago, Kozu and his stone army are surrounding the ninja, ready to attack. And I want to build this scene out of my own bricks. I started by laying down some rocks, then I had to figure out where I was going to situate all the minifigures, and I did this by laying down dark gray jumper plates to place the minifigures on. I built a little rock structure in one corner where Samukai was going to be standing so he could kind of stand out. Then I got Lloyd, Kai, Jay, Cole, and Zane all in their kimono suits. Then I set them in the middle and surrounded them by a bunch of stone warriors holding their swords out. This is a very suspenseful moment, and let's hope Dareth can find that ancient stone warrior helmet. I'm pretty happy with how this scene turned out, and I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. There's not much here except for the minifigures, and for Samukai himself, I'm going to give him a 8 out of 10. A very cool minifigure, but he was scratched up and did have loose arms. Now we've made it to one of my personal favorite seasons, Rebooted. And we have the Overlord. The golden armor this Overlord minifigure is wearing is printed on with a very shimmery gold and really makes him look like royalty. This villainous character is extremely detailed, and if you want to pick him up these days, he'll range anywhere from $37 to $198. In Rebooted, most of the season, his eyes are on a computer, but once he gets the golden weapons, he's able to make armor for himself, and the big reveal in the show is awesome when he's walking through these doors at Borg Tower. In order to make this scene, I laid down a bunch of transparent blue tiles and then spaced 4x4 tiles every half a brick to give the floor a futuristic vibe. Then I built up a back wall that says Borg Tower on the top and was able to add in some transparent purple detail. Then I quickly built 4 Ninjroids, placed them down the sides, and was finally able to place the Overlord on. The final product really captures this scene. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10, but there are definitely some better ones we've got planned for the future. For the Overlord himself, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. This minifigure is honestly just so incredible. For Tournament of Elements, the most expensive minifigure from the wave of sets that came out with the theme is Karlof, the elemental master of metal. This dude is very epic, especially when you give him his big metal mittens. The detailing on the body looks alright, but sadly there's no leg detailing. This minifigure will cost you anywhere from $20 to $46. And honestly, I'm not sure if he's worth $46. In the show, there's an iconic scene where Karlof and Kai duke it out over a jade blade in the courtyard of Chen's Island. For this one, I'm actually going to build the ground sideways using bricks. I laid down a purple carpet in the middle. Once I had laid that in place, I added some bamboo to the side and built up a back wall covering with dark tan tiles. I added an Anachondri symbol to the wall and 2 Anachondri flags. Now all we had to do was put the jade blade in the middle, place Kai on one side, and Karlof on the opposite side. Now they're ready to fight. This scene looks like I almost just grabbed it straight out of the show, and for that I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. For the Karlof minifigure, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. He's definitely a cool minifigure, but probably not worth $40. For Possession's most expensive minifigure, we have none other than the villain himself, Morro controlling Lord. And this minifigure is fantastic. Morro can range anywhere from $27 to $126. They give him a harness and a ninja hood that fit together so well and give Lloyd a really creepy presence. Alongside that, he has great detail and prints all over him. There's so many scenes we could recreate from Possession, but I finally landed on the scene from City of Styx where Kai is chasing him out on a dock and where Morro uses air jutsu for the first time. In order to recreate this scene, I laid down a lot of murky colored bricks and then took it to the sink and poured water all over it. Then I built 3 different sizes of wood pillars, placed them on the water, and designed a small dock in one corner with a green lantern. I built some strangleweed coming up, ready to pull Kai down into his worst nightmare, swimming in water. Finally, I gave Evil Lloyd the scroll of air jutsu and placed him on his pillar, and this scene was complete. I'm going to give this scene an 8 out of 10. I just really hope Kai doesn't get pulled underwater. And in the case of this Morro minifigure, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. There are only going to be a couple minifigures here that are a 10 out of 10, but Morro is very close. The most expensive minifigure in Season 6 Skybound is the Deceptive Genie, Nadakhan. For a 4-armed Ninjago villain, this one takes a cake. And is also probably one of the tallest Ninjago villains. The amazing red and orange ghost tail moves up into a 4-armed section where the top 2 arms have this dark green armor covering. This minifigure is an amazing representation if you got a genie and a pirate and combine them. And the scene I'm going to build for this minifigure is from the episode My Dinner with Nadakhan. We have Jay walking into this magnificent meal, and Nadakhan is going to try to convince Jay to give him his last wish. I used dark tan for the floor and dark brown for one of the walls and burnt orange for another one of the walls. I decorated the walls with a map, a pirate skeleton, a clock, and a dresser. Then I finished it off by making a table full of delicious looking food. Then I placed down Jay and Nadakhan, and the scene was complete. Now Jay can feast to his heart's content. I'm going to give this diorama scene a 9 out of 10. I'm very happy with how it turned out. And for the minifigure Nadakhan, I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10. S tier minifigure right here. And because we've only done 7 out of the 21 most expensive Ninjago minifigures, I'm turning this into a series of videos. We've got 2 more videos coming, and let me tell you, part 2 of this series is going to have some amazing minifigures and dioramas. So I cannot wait to see you guys for part 2 of this series. Peace.